Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Roger Gilbert from the RongoRongo Video Studio. The RongoRongo Video Studio represents three magazines. That's Milling and Grain magazine, International Aquafeed, and also our International Pet Food magazine. It reports on topics of the day, in fact on issues, and we're looking at an issue today that I think needs to be drawn to everyone's attention. And it primarily concerns grains and the handling of raw materials that go into the milling process. And I'm very pleased to say I've got on television here a colleague from Australia. He's now currently in California talking to us, and it's Kade McConville. And Kade is the director of a company called, and Kade, correct me if I get this wrong, Draslovka Agricultural Solutions. I'm sure I've got that wrong. What is the proper name, please?
So as you mentioned, Roger, I'm Director of Agricultural Solutions for Draslovka. We are a family-owned business based out of headquartered in Czech Republic. It is it's been owned by three families for over 100 years now, and we're a global innovator focused on the future of our planet and pioneering new generation of sustainable products, both in the mining sector and also in the agricultural industry as well. Our business model is based on creating effective and environmentally sustainable alternatives to legacy products which are in the market, whilst also generating lower emissions for the sector in which we operate. So we have very much an ethos of looking into where some of the problem areas are, particularly in the food and agricultural sector. And we could see some key challenges there that we were able to innovate some new solutions around as well. And as you said, Roger, I'm based in Melbourne, Australia normally, but I'm just over for a business trip in Fresno, California. So pardon the yawning. It's nothing to do with you, of course. But I've got 15 years of experience of basically in-field technical hands-on experience, as well as commercial and regulatory experience in the space of agricultural chemicals. But also across a range of global engineering, commercialization, regulatory roles, both in the ag sector as well as medical and industrial gases sector. I'm a qualified fumigator, qualified chemical applicator, and now over the last few years, sort of building up that expertise in definitely in this again agricultural sector. I've got a team of 100 professionals in my business unit, which I now lead globally, and those people are dotted all around the world. So and as you said, Roger, the agricultural solutions is just a part of Draslovka. So Draslovka is made up of three core business units: mining, specialty, and agriculture. And we provide, from the agricultural side, we're providing the global commercialization and regulatory management, as well as things like equipment engineering, application product development, day-to-day support for distributors, customers, end users, etc. So it's a broad accountability, but it allows for, which is quite unique, it allows for the full vertical integration of chemicals all the way from manufacturing all the way through to the end user. So it's quite niche in this market. You'll end up getting a lot of companies which either manufacture, but they don't apply, or you have application companies who are just sourcing their chemicals from other companies. So I think that we albeit that we do work with other parties as well from an application perspective, we've got quite an interesting niche within that market as well.
I'd like to jump in there. I think you've given us a very comprehensive look at your company and what you do and how you're located, etc., globally, with the sales or the servicing force behind you. But what, we have a limited time, of course, but what is the issue that you have? Briefly, let's get to the issue, and because I think it's a very important one. Fumigation is very central to the milling process. We want to protect our raw materials before we actually have to mill them. And I'm talking about not just wheats and breads, or we're talking about raw materials for animal feeds, and we're talking about raw materials used in the diets of fish and pet food. So what is the issue that you're confronting today?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that there's two elements to this. Firstly, sustainable fumigation is mission critical to food security, and so you've got basically an example of, the FAO estimates 40% of food produced each year is lost just due to pest infestations. That's an incredibly high statistic. From our side, we also believe that we're in 2023, so we see that there's also a big shift towards environmental sustainability as well. But environmental sustainability is not just the environment itself, but how biodiversity is affected by that as well. So you've really got a couple of elements there. What we find is that we have really attacked the problem of saying, well, we've got fumigants which are on the market right now. They're legacy fumigants. They're things that have been used for quite some time. They all have significant challenges in their own rights, but there is no one silver bullet either. So we see that we are introducing products into the market. We've got 3 core products, but really for this sector, we have a product called Blue Fume and a product called E-Fume that will predominantly focus on Blue Fume today, because we believe that is really a key win right now for the milling and grain sector. So one of the misconceptions is that fumigation is it might be environmentally sustainable, but in the end, as I said before, protecting that biodiversity is also a key element to achieving that sustainability piece. Fumigants have to both work, they have to be effective, they have to be cost effective as well, and have this environmental impact. I think that we know that early pest detection is challenging. A single insect in a kilogram of wheat can introduce thousands of pests into a silo, into a storage, etc. But we're currently reliant on very specific chemicals. If we look at the chemicals that are available, if we look at sulfur fluoride as an example, it's widely used for fumigation. It's a synthetic greenhouse gas. It's got a global warming potential of almost 4,600 times that of carbon dioxide. But it's a fumigant which we can see is now being scrutinized globally. So we can see a gap there where we hope that we can bring our products to market. Because it is a necessity to fumigate. Lots of people would like to say that it's not, and that we can do all kinds of pest management strategies to get around it. But ultimately, on scale, fumigation is really the only way to go. So I think the global supply chains really hinge on non-contaminated batches of food, and wherever we can assist in that is great for us. Our product is, as I said, is Blue Fume. Blue Fume is more sustainable. It's an effective fumigant compared to existing alternatives. So I'm sure all your listeners understand. You really got you've had 3 key fumigants in this space for quite some time. You've got methyl bromide, the dying horse on the side that no one wants to talk about, but it's still being used. Ozone depleting substance. You've got sulfur fluoride, which has again a high global warming potential. Then you've got phosphine, which is obviously globally the most widely used fumigant in this space, but it has efficacy issues, it has resistance issues. And I think that we need something else coming through on what I call and what I heard at a conference a few weeks ago is an innovation cycle. We need to be entering into this new innovation cycle in regards to fumigants.
And do you believe your product, Blue Fume, is that product?
We believe that what we're doing is it's a bit of a back to the future type scenario. Blue Fume is based on the active ingredient of hydrogen cyanide, but it is a product which has been used in the past for many years as an active substance. We've re-engineered it. We've created a product which is more sustainable. It's easier to use, and we believe that blue fume, knowing how it was used in the past and knowing how the effectiveness of the product, we know how it was basically used even in Australia, in the USA. It's still continuously used in Japan. These countries are all able to use this product successfully right now. And we see that, again, at the start of this innovation cycle, we're starting to see some more introduction of that product on a daily basis. So just so that you're aware, and so that your listeners are aware, blue fume is already a registered product. It's registered as a biocidal product in the EU. But it's also registered in Australia, in New Zealand, South Africa, Malaysia. It's in New Zealand. It's also used for the treatment of bananas and pineapples, as an example. So we've already got, and again, just to give some more to that, we've got commercial applications of this happening. This isn't something that is a dream. We've got this product. It's already through the regulatory process. We've got food manufacturing, milling facilities, flour mills in Spain, Germany, Czech Republic, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, all using this product already. So we believe that this is an opportunity to obviously get a little bit more recognition of the product, and hopefully some more drive towards this product as well.
And whereabouts is it manufactured? Is it manufactured just in Australia or also in Europe?
Yeah, so it's just manufactured in Czech Republic at the moment. So so just in Czech Republic, we've got a facility about 70 kilometers out of Prague, and we manufacture all of our chemicals there, apart from e-fume. E-fume is the other chemical which we manufacture, but that's manufactured in Australia.
Okay, and when you say it's for the food industry, for the milling industry, at what stage of the milling process do you recommend, given that you sort of go right from the manufacture of the product through its use in mills, where would you see its best application in controlling insects, for example?
Yeah, for sure. So what we have at the moment, and why I say at the moment, is that we're at the very, I would say, start of this commercialization phase. And what I mean by that is Europe in particular has two different types of registrations, both a biocide as well as plant protection. At this stage, blue fume is only a biocide treatment in Europe. So we can only treat empty structures. So we can only treat empty silos. We can treat empty milling facilities, etc., unless the commodity inside is hermetically sealed. Now, what that means is that we're in a position right now where we are going for plant protection. Because that's really the space that we need to be working in to get the most uptake of the product, and we believe that it is the most suitable solution for that. However, I'm sure you're aware, in Europe that process is extremely long, it's extremely expensive, and we're really only starting that phase now. So what we need to use the product for now are really insect cleanup. So even in Australia, we're doing things like flour mills, we're doing food factories, where they're doing a cleanup because they're seeing a pest infestation at a particular point in time. We're doing things like big silos, and being able to control any kind of outbreaks. The advantage of blue fume is that it controls all life stages of all insects. So I'm no entomologist, but at the same time, I say all insects in inverted commas. And we've got a lot of data to support that. So from our side, it's a cleanup. It's really something like a pre-harvest type treatment where you know that you've got product coming in. It could be at the end of the season where you've cleaned out your storages of the commodity, and you're ready to clean that up for the next season, as an example.
But once you've got plant protection authorization or registration, the situation will change, will it?
100%. That's when we have no concerns in obviously getting this product through this process. Again, we believe that we're bringing a somewhat novel solution, albeit again a product that was used in the past. And this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to have that that plant protection product, which is then able to be used for the full protection of grain and the actual treatment of grain in storage. Some countries already allow it, but it all comes down to local jurisdictions, local regulatory mandates. If we look at Japan, for example, they already treat not with blue fume, but with the same active substance, and they are already treating things like grain, etc., with the product as well. So it's really on a case by case basis. When we come to Europe, it's a bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, and you mentioned right at the beginning, the loss of grains through storage or poor storage is, in FAO terms, about 40%. And I know in Africa that's a little bit higher there than that. Are you looking sort of to those markets as well as a priority, where they're not constrained as much, say, by the European regulatory system, where you can get your product into more immediate positive impact?
Yeah, yes and no. I think that one of the things that we really want to do is ensure that we've got a very robust package to start off with, particularly when you go into these regulatory spaces. We need to pick and choose where we're going to a degree, and we always want to go where fumigants are toxic. Let's be honest, there's no way around that. And I think that we need to be very careful in where we introduce the products, ensuring that they are managed correctly, ensuring that product stewardship, include equipment, training, etc., is all available and all adhered to. And I think that from when we say that we're going for EU, we do that because we know that the regulatory framework there is quite strong. And once we've got that package, it's then transferable as well. If we go for, let's say, if we go into African nations, yes, the requirements are lower, but they're not as robust. And I think that's where we just want to make sure that we've got those boxes ticked as well.
Right. And with the focus on Europe, what's the timescale for getting plant protection registration? Yeah,
so we've started the process. Look, we believe, like, realistically, we're still looking at a minimum of 3 years. But at the same time, it is already registered as a biocide. We can already be using the product to really start to see the uptake of the product in the market as well. But there is a lot of work to do still, and look, I've got hopefully a good team to get in behind that and really get this pushed through as quickly as possible. But it also relies on the advocacy of industry as well. Industry needs to be advocating for these products. We can be in a position where we can be trying to register a product, but we always seem to have a vested interest as well. But what we need industry saying, we need a solution. We can see that the products which are on the market at the moment either are ineffective or they're having a significant environmental impact. So therefore, they should be also requesting to the regulatory authorities in the EU, we need a new product. We need something sustainable moving forward.
Yeah, well, that's the question I was going to finish on, actually. What can the industry do to help? And I think you've summarised that very nicely. And from our perspective, I'd say through our magazine is a good opportunity to explain some of the details. Our magazines are all about technology and the development of those new approaches, but in a way of explaining it rather than promoting it, of course. And that's what we're looking forward to doing with your support. But also there's lots of industry conferences where I'm sure you could take advantage and further explain the support that you might require, because our industry certainly needs to pay more attention to the way materials are received, their quality and their handling within storage. No product or grain improves in quality by storing it, and we've got to look after them pretty well to maintain the quality that they come in at. So I think if there's, sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say, like, even the engagement that we've had with industry so far, the grain and milling industry is somewhat unique in the fact that it's so broad, it's such a big industry, but at the same time it's quite cooperative. And I think that's where there's not a huge amount of yes, there's competition, but everyone is there to help and support, and that's what we've really found in this process as well. So we're doing a lot of work at, let's say, the University of Kansas, at a number of universities globally, on this plant protection piece, things like residue studies, etc., all in support of these registrations. And I think anything that the industry can do, and again, yes, as you said, Roger, we do a lot of presentations at conferences to bring this product to light. And anything that the industry can do to support us is very well received from our side.
Well, we would certainly like to support you by explaining what the product is, what it can deliver in terms of environmental impact. I mean, we're all looking towards not only just the sustainability question, but the impact that we make on the environment. And if we can reduce that effectively, cost effectively, then I don't see why we shouldn't be supporting products like this. But Kade, thank you very much for joining us today. I mean, if you'd like to add one more thing, if there's something you'd like to close on, that would be fine. But from my side, I think I've heard something that's really intriguing. We need to delve deeper into it in terms of our magazines. But it sounds like a very positive direction the industry is going in.
Yeah, no problem, Roger. And look, I suppose on that closing point, the direction of travel in Europe and globally is clear. We need to be pushing down this environmental sustainability route. Draslovka have a solution. We know that we're in that process already. It's a long process. I'm a lot grayer than what I was than what I was even a few years ago starting this process. But I think that we're in a really good space right now within this innovation cycle to really drive forward with new sustainable alternatives. Maybe it may not even be blue fume, but I think that in the end, if we've got options that are available and we can advocate for those within industry, we believe that blue fume is a solution. And I think industry is seeing that as well. We're on a good path.
Yeah. Well, watch this space, and hopefully everything will come to fruition within that 3-year period. But Kade, thank you very much for joining us today. All the best with your project over the next few years, and we look forward to talking to you again when you've got more news on this subject. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you.
Okay. Bye for now.